Check 1, 2. Check to see if we are live. We are. We're live. Hare Hare. Rama Hare Rama. Hare Hare. Boom, 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 boom. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the program today. Welcome to the program. Kirtan. My hope that more people play kirtan music so that I can enjoy it a little more. What is kirtan? Kirtan is a music devoted to God. Everybody wants to be with God, right? Everybody wants to be close to God. Have you ever met somebody that said they didn't want to be close to God? They didn't want to know God. God is a good word to I guess most people, right? I want to be close to God. How many people say like they don't understand God? They are afraid of God because someone told them what God is. It's some opinionated, white man with a beard or something like that, right? But God is love. God is everything. God is nothing, right? And this kind of music, this kirtan music puts its finger on that pulse of God, right? You play and there's nothing but God. Right? So Donald Trump isn't so lucky about having God on his side, or maybe he is. So it looks like we're going to talk about today. Donald Trump is in the news again down there and over there in New York, the Southern District of New York, and it looks like a New York State judge has ruled that Donald J. Trump has committed fraud against banks because he exaggerated and or inflated his wealth. What exactly does that mean? What does it mean to have your... What does wealth mean? What does the value of something mean? I'll give you an example. Like, for example, let's look at this. Like, I'll just take in something from random. How about this? This is better, right? This is my front tooth. Really. That's my front tooth, one of my front teeth that came out. And I don't know if this is the one I took out or what. But if I were a nobody, which I kind of am, right? Imagine me being nobody. Just some guy living out on Kensington Avenue in the Kensington section of Philadelphia, laying in his own vomit, right, on the ground. Nobody. And I die and someone takes my tooth out. What is the value of this tooth? Probably nothing, right? Maybe 15 or 20 cents or $1. But what if this was the eye tooth of, I don't know, say Joe Biden, and it could be proven, right? Or what about Pablo Picasso? This is Picasso's tooth. Now what is the value of the tooth? The tooth could be worth $1 million, $10 million, or whatever someone's willing to pay for the object. Real estate, fine art, it's the same. When you look at a Picasso painting, if you break it down, all it is canvas, maybe some wood, some paint, and that's about it. Some water maybe in there, oil. The raw materials are worthless, right? But because Picasso did it, it's worth 61 million, 85 million. The same thing can be said about Trump's properties. Right? For example, Mar-a-Lago, a judge in New York concluded that Mar-a-Lago, unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, is only worth $18 million. Now, $18 million, that's just the property value. It doesn't take into account who lives there and the rich history of America that resides there, the events, the American events that have occurred at Mar-a-Lago because a sitting president at the time and a former president still occupies it. So to say that Mar-a-Lago in Florida is worth $18 million is ridiculous. It could be worth 100 times that, as the Trump family points out. Now, this is not a defense of frauding banks and inflating your wealth. But the point is, Trump has played this right from the beginning. What is Trump worth? Trump says he's worth a lot more than he is. And who's to dispute the value of Trump's properties? Remember who Trump is. Trump is one of the most famous people in the world. Trump is more famous than Picasso. So if Trump buys something, another example would be, for example, Kiss. Kiss was one of the first bands, I believe, to have done this, but they would buy, like Gene Simmons, the bass player, he would buy like 50 basses, all the same. And then he would play them maybe once or twice. And then he would sell them at auction. He'd buy them for $500, $1,000, $1,500, whatever the bass cost. And then he would sell them for $20 and $30 and $50,000. He would sell them for 10 and 20 and 30 times the value of the actual bass because Gene Simmons owned the bass. So I point this out because it does look like this would not have been a case if anybody else, right? First of all, banks are obligated to research the clients before they shell out money. Right? And Trump dealt with all the top banks in America and abroad, and no one ever questioned Trump's wealth at all until now, until he becomes the front runner, ready to looks like upseat Biden. And you have the picture here is this is Letitia James. She is ran on a platform of I'm going to get Trump. She's a devout racist. She got kicked out of the New York State Division of Human Rights. She was the commissioner of the New York State Division of Human Rights, and she was let go, resigned because of her partiality to gay men. All right? That's true. That's a true story. Right? So she's also a devout racist in many respects. Who else could? Anyway, but that's who Letitia James is. Now she's Attorneys General of New York, elected because look, there's a dilemma in this country, a delirium of people who simply hate Trump because he's Trump. And they iconically or incorrectly place Trump on every billionaire they hate. Trump is not the same as Bill Gates. Trump is not the same as, Jeff Bezos. It's a different situation, in my view. So, but nonetheless, Trump is being, in my view, Trump being kangaroo courted here, and we'll look at those details. My name is Marcus Conte. I have a website. I speak my mind every day at 9 a.m. right here on YouTube, where it's philosophical, educational. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people, I don't know why people are here. These are real people. Jason Hooley is here. Vinny D. Martini in the house. Kim Wood, what's up? Zoot Suit Cooter, Kim Wood. I said your name twice. William Smith, Cass Philly Camden, Vinny D. Martini in the house. Weevil Girl, the beloved Weevil Girl's here. Jim Gerard as well. Justin Falzone lurking. Real people discussing real subjects, hanging out in the fucking mind stream right here, And that's what we do here every day. No strings. We pull no punches, right? Come right out and speak truth, philosophy, education, and other subjects, too. So every morning, 9 a.m., Monday through Thursday. If I get lost and you don't know where I am, MarcusConti.com. That's my website. And I love being here. I love being here with all you guys. I really do. I wake up every day and I look forward to doing this stream. I really do. I enjoy it. I don't have, it's certainly not a profit motive, but I do it and I like it and I enjoy it, and I've been doing this for a long time. And I hope people get get something out of it, get the same value that I get out of it. So that's my website. Let's start here. Crime. We're talking about crimes, right? Donald Trump, criminal. He's so bad. He cheated on his taxes. He defrauded banks. He took a box home with him as being president. He took a souvenir, and he challenged the election. He's a real fucking criminal, right? But here's some other criminals that are, this is okay. Trump is bad, but these kids looters strike Apple, Foot Locker, and Lululemon stores in Philadelphia, right here in Pennsylvania. I'm in Pennsylvania, where it's actually beautiful out, by the way. I'll give a little weather report before we talk about it. Down there in Philly, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but up here in the northern part of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it is beautiful, 50 and sunny. Can't beat it, man. Can't beat it. But down there in Philly, they're looting. They're looting. They were upset. The youth were upset about a ruling in court about some criminal that shot at a cop or whatever the problem was. But here they are looting, having fun with it. Watch. This is happening right now in Philadelphia. iPhone.
Free iPhones. Wow, this is crazy. Oh my God, this is crazy. Ain't nothing. Oh my God, all these iPhones.
So there they are. This is the youth of the nation. A group of young looters created havoc in Philadelphia Tuesday night, stealing from several stores in a spree that is unrelated to earlier peaceful protests. Yep. The unruly crowd outnumbered responding officers as they went store to store in Central City. This is crime, right? You remember what crime looks like, people? Can you remember if you're on the left and you think that Trump is a criminal, but you look at this and say, oh, these are freedom fighters. These are young oppressed people who need reparations. No, it's a deep-seated issue of racial violence in America. Racial violence aimed at this time at anyone who's considered indigenous, white people. White people are actually indigenous to America at this point. The United States of America was founded by white people. Therefore, white people are the indigenous species. Anything that happened before that is irrelevant, like anywhere else. Right? Chinese are the indigenous people of China, correct? Well, not if you go back 5,000 years. Who was there before them? The cavemen. Right? Cavemen are the only indigenous. So there you go, man. You know, people pissed off. I want to talk about this briefly. Vivek Ramaswamy, some jerk off, Mark Tassens, and some whoever, former speaker for George Bush, says that Vivek Ramaswamy is a member of the Chinese Communist Party. It wasn't long before they link it. But listen to this guy's rhetoric and how he tries to link Vivek Ramaswamy, who is a biotech guy, and he did some dealings with China, like everybody else. Fucking Apple is in the pocket with China. Of course, every corporation that does business in China is in the pocket of the Chinese Communist Party. That is inescapable. If you don't like that idea, then pull out of China. But you'll see how Ramaswamy, without looking at that finer detail, that every large tech company on the NASDAQ deals in China in some way. Don't look at that. Look at the fact that Vivek Ramaswamy did it once and it failed, and therefore he's guilty. But listen to this guy's logic, and you'll see how he's trying to whip a conspiracy that Vivek Ramaswamy is a Chinese communist. Wow.
Clearly, there are political reasons behind that. So, Mark, you made some very strong allegations about Vivek Ramaswamy, saying that he has a China problem and a Hunter Biden problem as well. Give us a sense of what you're getting at here.
So at the last debate, Vivek Ramaswamy said that all the other candidates on the stage were bought and paid for. And so I thought that was kind of offensive. And I thought, well, we should look into his China business dealings. And this is all.
So all the candidates are bought and paid for except Ramaswamy, who doesn't take money per se in politics. He made his own money and he's spending it. So let's look at his China dealings, right? As if one has to do with the other. Ramaswamy saying his statement is that I'm not bought and paid for. And this jerk-off is going to say, well, what about your China deal?
It's all public information. I lifted the rock, and what I saw under there was pretty disturbing. As recently as 4 years ago, Vivek Ramaswamy was doing business with high-ranking members of the Chinese Communist Party, including the CCP-linked family that funneled millions of dollars to Hunter Biden. So his partners in China were a company called
What a joke. What a joke. By affiliation, Vivek Ramaswamy is the same as Hunter Biden. That's the allegation here. See, they all do it. Right? That's what the Democrats are trying to do now. They all do it. They're all
CITIC PE, which is the state investment arm of the Chinese Communist Party. And the CEO of that company is a guy named Liu Lefei, whose father was the number 5 official in the Politburo and the CCP propaganda minister. His wife, Liu Lishan's wife, Ramaswamy's business partner.
What about Jeff Bezos? What about Bill Gates? What about Steve Jobs that made his fortune building his iPhones in China? You don't think that they had any ties with the Chinese Communist Party? The Chinese Communist Party are in control of China. Anybody who does business in China deals with the Chinese Communist Party. It's inseparable. Right? It's not separate like it is here, or supposed to be, or used to be. So this guy's a jerk off. They're trying to paint. I think Fox pushes back. Let's listen a little bit.
Partner's wife is the daughter of the Chinese Minister of State Security, who ran the Chinese Gulag and ran all of their influence operations around the world. And she, as part of those influence operations, funneled 5.
It's ridiculous to have Vivek Ramaswamy and Hunter Biden on the same stage. According to the Washington Post is doing it. The Washington Post is putting out this garbage. It's the Washington Post doing it. That's where the hit is coming from. So Vivek Ramaswamy under attack. Vivek Ramaswamy, you see, he's the same as Hunter Biden because he dealt with the dirty Chinese. It's stupid. It's so stupid I don't want to talk about it anymore. But that guy. Even stupider, Hillary Clinton. Now, you know that Donald Trump is being held to 100 felony charges and a lot of civil charges, taking away his business licenses and trying to strip him down to nothing. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton, who lied to Congress 5 times, who smashed FBI evidence, who rigged the 2016 election, Democratic primary against Bernie Sanders, then blamed the Russians, and for 4 years almost started or reignited a Cold War with Russia. You remember Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is still the apple of the eye in terms of government and politics. And Bill Clinton has lost no face whatsoever, so much so that Hillary Clinton has now gotten a portrait of herself, her own portrait in the State Department, because she used to be she was the Secretary of State. And Anthony Blinken gave her a portrait. So Hillary Clinton is rising to infamy, to legendary status, while Donald Trump is being almost carted off to jail. Well, let's watch the Hillary Clinton accepting her portrait. Let's watch.
I certainly aim to fulfill being a good steward during the time that you're here of our country's values, interests, and security. And it is such a joy to be back here. And I haven't seen this portrait in a really long time. Steve Paulson is amazing, but between COVID, between not wanting to finish it during the prior administration,
Yuck.
it's been a while. It's been a while, and I am going to be probably as surprised as all of you. But
Oh, boy.
this could not be a happier occasion, and thank you so much for hosting us.
Look at that. She's the darling. She's the apple of everybody's eye. Oh, Hillary Clinton. She's so beautiful and famous. She's going to get a painting. Here's the painting. Here's the painting. Why are the thugs wearing masks? Why are the guards wearing masks? What are we trying to say here? Why are guards wearing masks? What are you guarding against? So Hillary Clinton, forever and ever, will have a fucking plaque, have a painting. This is going to be hanging in the State Department forever and ever. Until 100 years pass, and then the radical right or left will tear it down, saying she was, in fact, she called blacks a super predator. She owned slaves. You know? So there you go. So if you thought Hillary Clinton was going to jail, you might be wrong, because she's not. She's getting a plaque hung on the wall of the State Department. Congratulations to Hillary Clinton. So on the other side of politics, Trump fraud ruling that cancels his business licenses, a devastating blow. Is it? A ruling by a New York judge that Donald Trump had committed fraud, leaving the fate of his business empire dangling in uncertainty, was a devastating blow for the former president. Legal experts said. If not successfully appealed, this decision will revoke Trump's organization business certificates in New York alone, not everywhere. A Manhattan judge ruled that the businessman greatly exaggerated the value of his wealth. That is the crime, the civil ruling that he broke without a jury. Why didn't Trump get a jury? A jury couldn't, look, if you stand before a jury and you make you show the example that I did in the beginning with Picasso, I'll do it again. You would see that valuation is something very, very hard to determine. Right? Valuation of Apple stock in 1987, right? You could have said it's worth $80 million. That 500 shares is worth $80 million, but I'm not going to cash it in for another 40 years. You could say something like that. That is valuation. Trump is in the frying pan of history right now. In 20 years, Milagro, valued at, just $18 million, for example, can be worth 10, 20, and 100 times that value, maybe 1,000,000 times, or maybe priceless. You don't know. It could become the most valuable property on earth. But this jerk-off judge, Judge Arthur Angorono, Kangaroo Court judge, gave Trump penalties. So Trump's in some shit right now. Trump has to, he might lose his business licenses in New York, which would make it nearly impossible to do, to operate in New York City, where he owns hotels and buildings and stuff. All right, so, but this judge, the judge has decided, some guy, some lone, lawyer, fucking law student become judge, nobody, doesn't know anything about valuations like we do on this program. Speaking of which, we'll look at the valuation of the stock market right now. Looks like everything's going to open up, by the way. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 119. It opens in 1 minute. NASDAQ up 56. and the S&P 500 up 17. And let's have a look. Are we open yet? We got another minute. One more minute. So this judge raining down on Trump, all right? It could cost Trump up to $250 million in penalties that James is requesting. That's Letitia James. That's the racist from New York, the woman right here that brought the case against Trump on a platform. I'll get Trump. Her platform. Vote for me. Elect me, and I'll get Trump. Trump could potentially have to sell off his assets. All right? And again, this is one of the big concerns here, the big play. This is Mar-a-Lago, right? This is Mar-a-Lago down there in Florida, and it's valued at $18 million, but they're saying that he would have never even gotten that if he didn't fudge his documents, right? He would have never been president if he didn't fudge his documents. I don't think he fudged anything. That's the point. I think that valuation is subjective. And when Trump presented his valuations to banks that turned around and gave him their money on loan, they agreed that Trump's valuations were proper. That's how business works. Its valuation is what it is. A regular person would be very concerned about what happened today. All right, well, this isn't a Trump statement. So there's Trump. Let's talk about valuation for a second. Right. So here we go. So here's a valuation, right, of Picasso. Right. In 1973, when Picasso died, his paintings were worth something. Now, this painting alone, $100 million. Picasso's painting, $100 million. Look at this one over here, $63 million. It's wood and paint. It's just, that's all it is. It's fucking paint. Maybe $50 in materials. But it's worth all of this money, $55 million. Why? Because it's Picasso. Picasso did it. $67.5 million. Was it worth that when Picasso made it? Certainly not this one. In 1909, Picasso was a nobody. This painting was probably worth, I don't know, maybe $10,000, maybe $5,000 if he's lucky, maybe less. But now it's worth $63 million, hundreds of times more than it was then. That's how valuation works. Things are worth what people are willing to pay. So for a judge in the situation of Trump to evaluate his piece of property, just one of them, for example, is ridiculous. So what did Trump say? Trump, quote, and I quote Trump, statement by the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump has spoken. So here's Trump's official statement. The widespread radical attack against me, my family, and my supporters has now devolved to new, un-American depths at the hands of a deranged New York State judge doing the bidding of a completely biased and corrupt prosecutor, Letitia James, who ran for office based on a Get Trump platform before even knowing anything about me. Today's actions is a refutation of my status as the leading candidate for President of the United States, including with a substantial lead over Joe Biden. It is a terrible reminder that the radical left Democrats will stop at nothing in trying to prevent me and the American people from winning the 2024 presidential election. Trump's the victim. Trump's a victim. Regardless of party, we cannot let this happen in the United States of America. As my lead in the polls over Joe Biden continues to skyrocket, these corrupt and highly political prosecutors and judges are getting more and more desperate and dangerous. They sure are, that's for sure. We are rapidly becoming a communist country, and my civil rights have been taken away from me. The New York State Attorney General went before a highly publicized Democratic judge who refused allowing the case to go to commercial division, where it belonged, to simply rule, despite all the evidence to the contrary, that I committed fraud, which is both ridiculous and untrue. So obviously Trump is denying everything. As an example, the Democrat operative valued Mar-a-Lago, the most spectacular and valuable property in Palm Beach, Florida, to be worth as low as $18 million, when it could be worth almost 100 times that amount, says Donald Trump. You want to argue about valuation? You want to argue about fraud? I think the banks got a good deal. If it's Trump. Did the banks make a good deal? Yeah, Trump paid all that money back. Anything that he borrowed, he paid back. He declared bankruptcy and let it go, right? He did illegal, he doesn't owe anybody anything. He hated everything about me at a level that I have never seen before, even beyond the hatred of the displayed by Letitia James. He's talking about the judge. There was no trial, no jury for supposed, quote, wrongdoing of fully paying back sophisticated Wall Street banks in full. That's what Trump did. He fully paid back sophisticated Wall Street banks in full, with interest, no defaults, and no victims. These banks were represented by the largest, most sophisticated law firms in the country. Those are the people that lent Trump the money on the valuation of his properties, which Trump puts at $10 billion, and some nobody judge in New York puts it, I guess, far, far less. Therefore, he committed fraud. That's crazy. This is Democratic political lawfare. Ooh, Trump using the lawfare word, lawfare, and a witch hunt at a level never seen before. It is an attempt to badly injure the opposing party's leading by far political candidate, him. Nothing like this has ever happened in our country before. My civil rights have been violated, and some appellate court, whether federal or state, must reverse this horrible, un-American decision. If they can do it to me, they can do it to you, Donald J. Trump. So let's look at the markets. Is it holding? Is it open? And the markets are open. Let's look at valuation. Valuation up. NASDAQ up 58. We'll take it. Dow Jones Industrial Average only up 10. S&P 500 up 12. Not bad. At least it's holding in the morning. It's not fucking down again. It's been down every single day for the last 2 weeks. NVIDIA up 6. Google up 75 cents. Apple up 30 cents. Amazon up 28 cents. Tesla down $1.50. $1.90, excuse me. S&P 500 is down 12. Rivian up 12 cents to 22. Tilray up 8 cents to $2.48. Philip Morris, that's my marijuana pick. I always said I follow Philip Morris not for cigarettes, but because I believe that if cannabis becomes is removed from the federal controlled substance list and truly becomes legal in America, like it is in our partner countries, our neighbors, Canada and Mexico, then Philip Morris would have an outstanding play at the marijuana business, because they'll distribute the same way they distribute Marlboro cigarettes. A global distribution of marijuana is what will happen. America will become the great. It's funny about America. America has had a long-standing war with the drug war, and at some point they're going to become the lead supplier, if not already. I mean, look at the pill pushing stocks: Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, the vaccine stocks. They're all, there's big money in pushing drugs, not just here at home on people, but everywhere in the world, as Bill Gates has pointed out. Right? Well, everywhere is a market. Right? We'll go to Africa and we'll sell them AZT for AIDS, and they don't even have it, AIDS. So markets are up. Dow just clicked red. Let's see if it's holding it. See if it's holding. Tick tock. Nasdaq up. We'll take that. So so I don't know what else to talk about here. All right, so Trump slams New York judge fraud ruling. Says appeal court must reverse on American decision. So we heard from Trump himself. I mean, it's really crazy, right? How are these valuations valued? Right? Remember who we're talking about. We are talking about Donald Trump, one of the most famous people in the world, if not the most famous person in the world. To evaluate Trump's assets is, especially at this stage in the game, right, is ridiculous. He's already a former president. He's already negotiated deals with Vladimir Putin and Zelensky and fucking every leader of the free world and not so free world like Kim Jong-un. Trump is royalty, and whatever Trump owns is valued at royalty, whether you like him or not. But they're trying to devalue him. Right? The judge revoked the Trump Organization's New York business certificates. Crazy. Trump's attempt to get the court to dismiss James's fraud and other claims was also denied by Engoron, the corrupt judge. These guys have nothing else to do. They have nothing else to do. Go after him. I don't care. As long as I go after Trump, I'm protected. Look, Hillary Clinton got a painting in the State Department. You see how people who side with them get treated? It's like they're out for themselves. Right? They're out for themselves. So Trump is in some shit right now, and you know, he's still running for president, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll turn this shit off. So thank you for joining me. Thank you very much for being here. I don't know what's going to happen. It is they're not there. It's one of the most relentless, unstickable. Nothing ever sticks to Trump. You know, and it's one of the most relentless witch hunts in American history. That he is guilty of everything until proven otherwise. And that's how we're entering into a presidential campaign. One side you have Joe Biden, who's still falling down flights of steps. He can't put two sentences together, right? And he's deeply involved in corruption with his son and his brother, taking millions and millions of dollars in bribes and gold bars and whatever else they took. And Trump, on the other hand, is the criminal. Right? So that's what you got right there. Man. So listen to some Hare Krishna. Have a great day, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting.